Yes, you are.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
You are live.
We can't do it. We can't be live today. Yes, welcome. Welcome to the show, one and all, for the usual carry-ons. You know how it is. Put a Q, colon, write the question, then a question mark. And that way it will be much easier for Ted to do his thing and find the questions and pass them on to Her Majesty Pym, Queen of Pirates, Mother of Puppies, the Unpoked. So,
yes.
There's a question there for you straight away.
All right, shall we start with that? Greetings. Please, Pym, will you be expanding on your Quit the Junk Week on this broadcast? I have signed up via your website today. Thank you ever so much, Jerry, in the WI. What's that?
In the WI? Is that in the West Indies? Don't know.
I don't know.
Let's have some
Wherever
music.
you are.
Go on.
No. Not with the music. Just fucking give up sometimes.
Right, we're here.
5 minutes of that bullshit. Yes, so that starts in 2 days. You totally throw me off track. Starts in 2 days. You can go to my website and sign up at pimjohnson.com/quitthejunk. We are going to do 7 days of actually action taking. Usually I teach quite a lot. This is going to be more action. So I'm going to give you things to do every day to quit whatever vices you have. Obviously related to food, but I know people in the past have been quitting caffeine or alcohol or whatever. You can do whatever you want, but it's mainly for those of you who have problems with getting rid of certain foods out of your diet. So that could be sugar substitutes. It could obviously be any type of carbs, things that you don't want there, but you feel like you have too many cravings to deal with it. So we're going to do a lot of things. We're going to look at what's behind that, how to create a sustainable diet plan that you can follow, how to keep motivated after the week, and all of the things. So it's free to join. You can just go and sign up. Don't try to email me today because my email has been suspended. I've been moving my website and not taking care of the email part of it. So just go and sign up there. And that was at my name. There. Oh, big or something? My finger is huge. pimjohnson.com/quitthejunk.
Perspective error because of the webcam.
Yes.
Lukey's in the house.
Big fingers.
Lukey's in the house. Lukey's in the house. Lukey's here, and Lukey's in the house. Haven't seen Lukey for a while. Good to see you, Lukey.
Indeed. Have you been busy bronzing yourself up?
You bronze god, you.
Go and play. Go chop.
How's she going to play in this little office under the desk?
Well, we have several dog beds here. She can go sleep.
Yes, good.
She doesn't know the command, go sleep. She knows the command, go play.
Snoozy. Did Mummy not care? Did she not? Oh.
She does. She just doesn't want to start with the dog on her lap today.
Super chats.
Right, super chats.
Super chat.
Hello. There we go. Thank you very much. I'm the chap on X that asked about the Bradford Hill criteria. It sounds like some made-up BS, but a deeper dive is appreciated. This was related to no extent studies on C and E.
Yeah, Ted was just passing that message on to me because he didn't do that until just now. Yes, So Bradford Hill criteria. There's a list of things that Bradford Hill proposed back when, which were things that in his mind were required, all of which needed to be yes, positive, yes, check, yes, check, yes, check, yes, check on every single one. I think there's 9 Bradford Hill criteria from memory. And all 9 had to be in line before you could even consider the possibility that causality might be involved. Fail any one of the 9 and you can eliminate any possibility of causality. That's what the Bradford Hill criteria is for. It is not for establishing cause and effect. It's for giving someone a reason to absolutely eliminate any possibility of it. Okay? So your person that's quoting the Bradford Hill criteria at you doesn't know what they are or what they are for. That's sad for them, isn't it? Send Ted around. He'll take his bucket of soapy frogs.
If we have 99 people on this stream who are not subscribed just yet, go and do it so we hit 50,000.
That'd be funny.
Like, up there. Boink. Oh, he combined. We want more subs.
Hello, Fluffy Dog.
Is that one updating?
It's updating live, yes.
Cool.
Fluffy.
Snoozy's been waiting forever, and then you take love.
But Snoozy sits with Mummy. Fluffy sits with Daddy.
For goodness sake, I didn't want
This is Daddy's girl. Aja. Baden so just to hun.
Jesus.
Also not the good one.
I'm forced to have a dog on my lap.
Oh.
Okay.
Everybody's here for the live stream now, except
Right. Shall we do the next question?
Well, why not? Questions.
When does physical performance get better for gym, football and jiu-jitsu? Currently 75 days and still adapting. Looking forward to my sports, but body feeling fatigued and tired at the moment.
6 to 12 months is the answer. It's not the one you're looking for, but it's the accurate one.
Yes.
6 to 12 months, not 6 to 12 minutes, hours.
So this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
When you say 6 to 12 months, what exactly would you expect after 6 to 12 months? How would you feel?
It really depends. Your mileage may vary, how long's a piece of string, all of that. What I have found is that generally an athlete is at least breaking even in terms of their performance at around the 6-month period, and by 12 months...
Breaking even?
Getting back to where they were.
I see.
Yeah, and then after 12 months, generally they are performing better than they did beforehand. More betterer. Only that's the bit you never hear about, because once an athlete works out how to perform more betterer than her colleagues, their colleagues, shim, shur, zi, zay, zor colleagues, that is, they don't tell others how it's done. Like maybe keeping some testes tucked up inside their body somewhere and having the wrong set of chromosomes. If that's a performance enhancer, which it appears to be, don't tell everyone. Pretty much. Keep it a secret, because it's your advantage in the sport, you see. Right. Jean, good to see you.
Yes. Hi, Bart and Pim. Hello.
Hello,
Thank you for the super chat. Very kind. All right. I'm trying to click this thing. There we go.
Yeah.
Can we get the backstory as to why you chose your career field?
Current one, Tulip, or the one before that? Or the one before that, or the one before... Actually, I have a long history of starting out on things and going, no, I don't think I want to do that anymore. I think I want to do something different. So I left school at the end of the maximum amount of schooling that was being offered in the country I lived at the time. I was 18. I spent the next 9.5 years working in a service station at night shift mostly, sometimes on the day shift, and playing and singing in poodle rock bands with ringlets halfway down my back and stuff, believe it or not. And then at about 29 years of age or so, I started my first undergraduate degree in sport and exercise science, it was called at the time. And the reason I chose that was because I like science and I like sport. So that was cool, and it was something I could do and get student loans for the next few years. So I did that. And then I realised that academia was actually something I could get alongside and do something in and rock the world and change. So I spent the next 20 years or so trying to do that, change the world, change academia, change the way things are done, make a noise, plant my flag, all of that. And I had some success. But at the end of the day, I thought, no, I don't want to do that. And now I want to be a social media influencer and marketer of the fine products brought to you by the fine folks at Cerule. The link is underneath this video in the show notes if you want to go and get hold of that stuff. It's brilliant. It's exactly what it says it is, and it does exactly what it says it does. Causes you to have more stem cells. So go and get that. While I was in academia, by the way, Tulip, I changed kind of specialities 3 times as well. I'm a real sticker, me. Shut the fuck up.
I did not say anything.
Good. Right, what's next?
Super chat.
Super chat. We love the super chat chats. No singing.
Blah. muscle twitching and headaches. 6 months in carnivore. Should I supplement electrolytes? I do not eat organs.
Spray magnesium from a water bottle onto your skin directly below the waist for the muscle cramps.
Magnesium oil, that is? Magnesium chloride or magnesium...
Oh, you can use Epsom salt if you like, as long as it's
sulfate.
got... Yeah, it's all good. It all works pretty well. Usually the cramps you're talking about are usually lower body stuffs. So spray it there. In terms of the headaches and stuff, I would suggest there may be an issue around the energetic levels of your brain tissues, maybe. There could well still be some residual carbohydrate withdrawal stuffs going on there as well. Stick with it for another 6 months and you won't know yourself. Basically, you're kind of, for the most part, for most people on average, 6 months into carnivore is about as bad as it gets for most people, unless you do it wrong. Like Paul did. Paul did it wrong. That's why it didn't work for him. He never really was a carnivore. He did it wrong. Yeah, all of that. Good. Abs. Good to see Abs.
Super chat.
Yep.
Cause risk impossible in humans but doable in rats. If controlled for risk, what are your thoughts on transferring those nutrition findings to humans?
It's a bad idea, I think, Abs, and the reason for that is because last time I looked in the mirror, I am not a rat.
What?
No. It's a shock for some. Some people think I really am.
I think you are a...
Rattus.
A beaver.
An eager beaver.
Beavers.
Yeah. No, I don't think we can transfer from species to species. You can make inferences. Yeah, I know the mouse thing doesn't work properly. I'm still trying to work out what the fuck is wrong. I think it's actually a system problem rather than, because I've tried 3 different mices, or mouses, and there's an issue with all of that. So
yes,
I don't really need these on. I've got those on so I can hear the music, but there's no music because no music's allowed. No singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible to improve stamina and endurance without cardio, just resistance training?
Right. Well, number one, all training is resistance training of some kind. It's just a matter of how resistive the resistance is. It's a variable thing. Endurance is specific. How long do you need to endure? Because how long you can endure in a physical activity is also inversely related to the intensity or resistivity of that training. All fitness is specific. So in short, the answer is yes, absolutely you can improve your stamina without doing what we would classically call cardio, which really refers to moderate intensity, long duration, rhythmic muscle contractions of large muscle mass things like jogging, cycling, those kind of activities that people typically that do this kind of training undertake for hours and hours and hours a week. And when they become semi-professional and or professional athletes, it just goes up and they do more and more and more and more of that because they're told that's a good idea. It isn't. It isn't a good idea. So, basically the answer to your question is yes. Depending on what it is you are trying to train for, training is specific. Okay? I hope that's helpful.
Give the stream a thumbs up.
Do, indeed.
And subscribe. It's still 49,901.
Yes. Get your dog to subscribe or something.
Yes. Get the dog.
Yes.
Oi, have you subscribed?
Have you subscribed? She just twitched her nose.
Yeah.
Nah, why would I? I have to fucking listen to it all week.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Maybe I should unsubscribe because I have to listen to it all week, even more.
You don't have to do anything, my love. It's all voluntary.
It isn't when it's so loud you can't escape it.
There's the fucking door.
It's cold out there.
Exactly. And hungry.
Hungry.
It's cold and hungry out there if you're a no-house motherfucker.
Rude.
I know. Right, what's next?
Next is, would you say the requirement of cardio such as jogging is 0 as long as proper resistance training is done?
Again, it depends on what it is you are preparing yourself for. Fitness is specific. If you want specific advice on training, you need to give me specific modality of exercise. And then you'll say to me something like, okay, so what's the best way to train for boxing? And I'll say, well, Go do that.
We have a very serious question coming up.
Good.
I was at a magic show last night and they asked for a volunteer, so I went up and they put me in the box and the magician cut my body in half while making my legs disappear. Can you help me find them?
No, but I'll tell you what, once I was turned into a newt. But I got better.
Yes. Maybe your legs will grow back.
Never question the magics. Or the science. I'm the science. Don't question me. I'm safe and effective. Yes.
Righty. Headaches and muscle twitching on a strict beef, butter and salt water diet. Isn't this the same thing but differently worded?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, same answer. Give yourself 12 months. Spray magnesium on your skin if you've got muscle twitchings. Bear with it. It gets better. It really does.
You can also try to take a little bit of potassium maybe to make up for if you're eating a lot of sodium.
Yes.
Or try electrolytes as well.
Yes, come on in.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Pavel Tsatsouline said in an interview that if you want to train hypertrophy, you have to do many sets of 5 to 6 reps with short breaks. He believes in training volume. What do you think about it?
I think he's wrong. That's one methodology that can be effective, case by case, but it's not the only way to do it, ergo it's not a must. There are many ways to achieve hypertrophy training that is effective, that does not involve relying on volume being the key precipitant, because it isn't. He's wrong. In short, no, Pavel. And go swing some kettlebells or something. Cool.
Right.
Stop wiggling, or else you'll be on the floor again.
Shut up now. Getting mixed messages about iodine. Some sources saying you don't get enough from meat and should supplement on carnivore. I can't see how meat-eating cavemen would have been deficient in it.
Well, there you go. You see? I don't have any signs or symptomology of iodine deficiency myself. Do you?
I don't know.
We do, of course, consume some salt which is probably iodized.
We're using sea salt.
So that we don't use iodized salt.
There is iodine in sea
well, naturally,
salt,
yeah. The naturally occurring amount. Yeah, I agree with you. I think, at the end of the day, people are absolutely fixated on numbers to the exclusion of thinking about the very basic premise, which is, how do I feel? What symptomology am I suffering that would lead me to think there was any problem, that would lead me to even go and get levels of anything tested? And once I've had my levels tested, the report I'll get back from the people testing my levels will be, here's where you are with respect to the population. Well, who wants to be there? I don't. I want to be in a place that is most conducive to the best lifespan and quality of life while I'm there. I think, personally.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, Professor, has anyone decided to debate you?
Not recently. No, there's no queue. Anyone that wants to debate me on anything sensible, can you're going to sit down there because you wiggle too much. Please, absolutely, DM me. We can have a debate. Tell you what, during the week, probably there'll be an upload on my Fine channel. I've finally got it recorded yesterday. It's with the editor now. We're going to deal with Ben Bickman. The video is going to be called something like Ben Bickman botches biology badly, or something like that.
B.
Yes. The B and no E's.
Yes.
Ben Bickman botches biology badly. Ben had a crack at the Randle cycle recently, as many of you know, and his video was absolutely fine until it wasn't, suddenly. Stick around for that. That's during the week.
We just want to remind everyone that the non-liker obliterator beast approaches. Hit like to escape Ted's eternal torture.
Yes.
Thanks, Lukey.
If you don't, Ted will show up late night and he will bring the rampant wildebeest. So he will.
Thanks for the super chats. Thoughts on Thomas Seyfried's work on cancer being metabolic instead of genetic? I personally think he's correct. Genes for cancer make no sense through the lens of evolution.
Yes, I think that it's one of those ones that we need to understand, comprehend, and appreciate that it's not one or the other, necessarily. To the exclusion of, they're not mutually exclusive. one's particular genetic makeup can predispose one towards cancer more so than another person, all else being equal. However, genes are not fait accompli. Any set of genes that you've got can be up or down regulated in terms of their expression. And so they're kind of a set of instructions, but they're a reactive set of instructions. Excuse me, folding my arms like this. It's fucking freezing here this morning. Goodness gracious. Anyway.
I recently read a book, and I can't remember the title as all, but it was about cancer and deuterium, actually. Mm-hmm. So that could be an interesting one. I would say send me an email if you want the title, but my email doesn't work. So I shall try to remember to bring the title next week.
Right.
Let's put it like that.
Also, if people want to see a collaboration between myself and Dr. Abs, it's already up on his channel, and it will be up on my channel at some point when the editor's finished editing it. But there's already a copy up on Abs's channel with my full permission. I told him to do it. So go and have a look at it there, and if you haven't subbed to Abs, sub there as well, because it's all about cross-pollination, isn't it?
Right. What are the health consequences of not doing enough appropriate exercise?
Inflammation, a tendency towards adiposity, all else being equal, perhaps. Atrophy, sarcopenia later in life.
Do they say hormonal suicide?
Yeah, osteoporosis later in life, hormonal problems, and a lack of ability to meaningfully negotiate the universe. If you're, that feeble that a gust could blow you over, you're actually not really much use to anybody, are you? I think. Yep.
In the middle of forest, WI equals Wisconsin.
There you go. Wisconsin is what WI. It's not with West Indies. No. I was a bit confused by the American flag. I thought, probably that's one of the states, but who knows which one. There's 50 of them, I'm told. I'll be in 2 of them this month at some point.
Fucking hell.
Don't tell anyone where, though, because it's a secret.
It's very secret.
Very secret.
Righty. Oh, have you tried a dry fast of 1 to 2 weeks or more? How did it go? Any memorable experiences?
She did. I didn't.
No, just 6 days. So not more than 1 or 2 weeks. People unsubscribing. We are shit. Shall we just close this down then? Oh, there it goes. I saw it change on the other screen. Yes, I've only done 6 days only. That was plenty for me. How did it go? It went really well up until day 5. So I don't think I was thirsty until day 4-ish. Day 5, I started to feel a bit. Day 6, I was having some issues. And that's when I decided to break my fast. So with regard to the issues, I could probably have gone through with it if I had been prepared to be bedridden all day, more or less. I had some, what's it called? Now I've gone up to 49,902. Anyhow, every time I stood up, I got dizzy, but the problem was that my heart was racing and continued racing when I was standing, so I had to sit down. And I don't like being so inactive and feeling pretty shit. So I decided that I'll just quit a day early. And was it the right decision, maybe?
I think it was.
Okay.
Well, if you remember, it was me that was leaning on you to stop. A bit.
Well, I wasn't that hard to convince, I think, at the time. It felt like, oh, Jesus, I don't know if I can do a whole day of this, because that started as soon as I woke up at 6 in the morning. But other than that, I like dry fasting. I think it's easier than water fasting in many regards. Maybe not when it starts getting really hard, it's probably not, but before that, it definitely is. Less hunger. I just feel better, because I feel very hungry and hollow when I'm water fasting. I don't enjoy that at all. Right.
More questions.
Yes, we have plenty of questions.
Good, we like
I just
questions.
need to find them.
Excuse
Here's
me,
one.
questions. Yep.
Conventional dietary advice is to avoid red meat if you have problems with fibroids, which is obviously nonsense. Are there food supplements that actually help shrink them?
I'm not sure that we could say with cause and effect that this is going to work or that's going to work, Gene, but I'll tell you what, fibroids are absolutely associated with hormonal imbalance, and hormonal imbalance is absolutely associated with the standard diet or any diet containing any significant amount of those plant materials that tend to cause hormones to be, for want of a better term, all fucked up. So associations, a few leaps of faith, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, try it for a bit. And I know you have been. And see what happens over several years. Perhaps do those 5 health hacks that I talk about as well.
Here we go. Took you long enough, 26 minutes.
There you go. There they are, 5 health hacks. Get them down here.
Right. Is very correct on the idea that working is for slaves and that salt is contraindicated rock?
He is not, surprisingly. And he's also not correct on pretty much anything else he's had to say at any time. For instance, I would like to make a few corrections to some of his statements. The Earth is, in fact, not flat. No, it isn't. Staring at the sun is not a good idea. No, it isn't. Meat that is cooked is not for slaves. No. Working is perhaps for slaves, but also people could work for their own choice. So basically, nothing he says makes any sense, and salt is not rock. No. It's salt, which breaks down to electrolytes and fluid. In fact, it's, some fluid with some electrolytes in it is the very thing that we evolved in. It's also the thing that makes up the basis of our blood plasma still and our cell fluids still, salt water, funnily enough, and our needs for salt in our diet are what they are. So, yeah, basically, your first clue should have been that the bloke can't even spell his name without using a number. So why would you take anything else he's got to say seriously? A bit stabby, I'm told, also is our friend Spherier. Some report allegedly of him being in a high school at one point as a student and being a bit stabby there with some other students.
Next.
Yeah.
Oh, I would try to do next.
Yeah.
There we go. If you were severely hyponatremic, would drinking sea water be beneficial?
If you were severely hyponatremic, then yes. But how would you have got severely hyponatremic in the first place?
The dogs are far too cute.
Yes, Fred or Good Home, at least one of them is, anyway.
Not this one. You can have the other one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Olympics 2024, so wrong. Yeah.
I haven't watched any of it, and I'm not going to.
Nope. Well, didn't you watch something the other day?
I watched 46 seconds of it the other day, just because
I walked past.
Just because it was all over the platform formerly known as Twitter. Everybody who has opinions on that particular event that lasted 46 seconds.
Super chat.
Yep.
Any plans to take the odious Dr. Arlo to task for his Dunning-Kruger and his arrogance? It's painfully obvious that he's not a scientist, nor does he have any training whatsoever in statistics.
Both of those are correct, and I agree with you entirely, and I already have done, quite significantly. In fact, perhaps if you search my channel offerings, you will see a number of examples of me doing exactly that. Arlo is a buffoon. Arlo is a DO who runs a cath lab, basically, with delusions of grandeur. Arlo has never published a single peer-reviewed article in his own name in any field of science ever, let alone conducting a statistical analysis on anything. Not competent to speak about science, nor health in any way. A trained puppet.
Are you a trained puppet?
Yes, she is. Arlo is a buff head. What's next?
My trained puppet is at least cute. Okay. Did you see the study that Ben Beckman shared about ketosis creating up to 2 times higher metabolic rate equals eat more animal fat if need to burn body fat?
No, I didn't. And I think any person that suggests anything causal in any of these studies is clearly not someone who's up with what goes on in this industry. I am, because I worked in it myself for several decades before thinking better of it. Ergo, I'm in a unique position to be able to comment on the quality of the peer-reviewed science regarding any aspect of nutrition or any of those kind of things at all. It's all rubbish, basically.
Rubbish.
It's rubbish. Good.
How to fix? Tried carnivore gradually. Unfortunately, my digestive flow has gone from smooth and several times daily to a blockade, and when it comes, it once a day of very hard, rocky consistency. Eat more fat.
Perhaps, yes. Get some magnesium into you if there is a genuine constipation issue, which going once a day is not constipated, by the way. Going 3 times a day, what the hell is wrong with you? Did you come from a vegan background or something?
Where did you see 3?
Several times daily.
Yeah. That's 3 then.
Well, 1 is 1, 2 is a pair, and several is 3 or more.
5, sir.
Oh yes, 5. No, 3. Hang on. 1, 2, 5. Throw the grenade. Sharp, pointy teeth. Right.
Your opinion on HRV importance? Are all these cardiologists yapping away on this?
Please don't use 3-letter acronyms.
Heart rate variability.
Yes, thank you. Heart rate variability is a marker. It's not the cause of anything. It's used to establish the cardiovascular fitness, or it's one marker of cardiovascular fitness. I don't know what you mean by them yapping away on it. What is the question exactly?
Probably that you need to increase it, and it's super important for your health.
Well, no, you don't need to increase it by doing anything in particular. What you need to do is do what you need to do to maintain cardiovascular health, and that will result in increased heart rate variability.
So I can tell you guys that my heart rate variability did increase after my 6-day dry fast. It also increases when I'm doing cold thermogenesis. And it seems to correlate with more deep sleep, at least with the cold thermogenesis, not so much with the dry fasting. So, yeah. All good things.
Nice.
Do you believe that plants have a soul and eating them not the spiritually correct choice to do?
No, I don't believe that.
Oh.
I believe you shouldn't eat plants because we're not designed to. They are toxic and irritants.
Okay, 1.5 months carnivore, 75 kilos, 6'1". I love eating butter on its own or with beef eggs. Is there a danger of overeating butter? I buy unpasteurized salted butter and eat about 120 grams per day.
No, not really. You're going to really, really struggle to overeat on butter. And if you do manage to get it done, the result will be that you'll get the shits.
Yes, it will come out again.
Yep.
Not to worry. Super chat. Can you please make a video about Dr. Ids on Facebook?
Possibly at some point, if I can stand to sit through more than 3 seconds of that arrogant, offensive little boy.
I don't know who Dr. Ids is.
Well,
Maybe I'm blessed.
You don't want to. This is an arrogant child with not the first clue about anything, spouting off like he's the world expert on everything and saying stupid ass shit.
That sounds like someone I know.
Ted, yeah, I know, but you can't tell him anything. You can't do a thing with Ted. He's just going to say whatever he wants, frankly. Yeah.
What is the scientific method behind the blood test results on vitamin recommendations, and what are the errors of its interpretation?
Well, there are no science studies underpinning the suggested levels of various vitamins and things that a person should have. Hello. Precisely because it's not possible to do long-term experiments on human beings under control and observation, locked in laboratories for decades at a time. So there's a lot of theology. All of human nutrition, so-called science, is in fact about the furthest thing from science you can get. It's all theology. It's nonsense. It's crackpottery from top to bottom, pretty much. The errors of interpretation are, number one, that people think that there is any science of any kind underpinning any of these suggestions at all. It simply isn't. Sorry about that. Does that cover it off?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
But you're being stared at from under the table massively.
Oh, are you an excruder-rooney? Oh, yeah. Well, let me just move a bit so you don't bonk your head. Come forward. Come on in. Oh. Are you going to sit still this time? This is your third appearance on the show. Are you going to be good?
Is there ever any reason to be on a statin?
No, none whatsoever, under any circumstances. Statins are a contraindicated metabolic poison with no established benefit of any kind in science. None at all.
Question, sorry. I have no idea what that refers to, but it had a cue.
Okay.
Here we go, next cue.
Yeah.
Regarding a video you did with Jonathan, what's the use cause of turkey tail mushroom extract?
Turkey tail mushroom extract is thought to be involved in supporting gut health. It seems to have quite good, powerful moderating effects on gut health. It's also thought to be an anti-cancer agent, but who knows?
Right. What specific exercises would you recommend for cardiovascular system maintenance and or improvement as well as muscle growth?
I would recommend that you tell me exactly what activity you are trying to prepare for so that I can tell you how to prepare for that activity. Still. What's next?
Did nutritional response technique help pinpoint any ailment? Would it help me find root cause of the psoriasis I have?
I don't know what nutritional response technique is. It's not one I've used myself.
I don't know that either.
No. The root cause of your psoriasis is going to be an inflammatory situation, most likely centered in your gut. I can tell you that for nothing.
Very good. So, is Ted coming to Adelaide in November?
Maybe. Ted's just thinking about it. And he has to behave between now and then before I'll take him.
Yeah. I recently saw that you do not recommend enema. I rarely engage in them, not for nutritional purposes, but before fun with the wife. Would this be problematic?
You do you, pal. Oh, God, fuck! Oh, Jesus, lock elbow again when I'm trying to put the dog down. I hate that when that happens.
It's good that you're on camera, because at least you're not squeaking like a fucking dying pig.
Here we go.
No, don't do it.
Squeak!
Are you expecting to live longer than any of the two Brian Johnsons? What age do you think is plausible?
I think any given human can expect 120 to 150 year lifespan if they just get out of their own stupid way and do the right thing health-wise. Most people don't for a lifetime. That's why they get shorter lifespans, basically. I would make no predictions about myself personally because I've done some things in my life that would probably shorten my lifespan, I would suggest.
You should probably already be dead.
Well, who knows? Depends on who you ask. It is what it is. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Yes. Good girl.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She's very clever.
Yes. Does excess protein become glucose? It seems to be the case for me. If so, how do I know how much protein to eat?
I would aim for 2 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass per day, preferably in one bolus, and adjust from there. N equals 1. That's what I do. And yes, excess proteins absolutely can and do become glucose. And thereafter, if it's not used as such, it can then be transferred further into the fat pool and stored therein.
But you're going to the floor because you wiggled too much. Burst out laughing before I realized he was talking to the dog.
Yes.
Good. Is there any benefit to sweating? I've been thinking about how early humans living outside would have been subject to sweating more, and now our modern society has less opportunity for sweating.
Well, sweating evolved because it was useful. And its main use would seem to be in thermoregulation.
What about detoxing and sweating?
Sure, to some degree. Yeah, to some degree, absolutely. I said the main reason it exists, so its main reason is thermoregulation.
Do you think carnivore could heal long-term neuromas around sacroiliac bone, graft harvest, and metal wear sites?
Yes, it would have an effect. Absolutely. Feeding yourself a species-appropriate, species-specific diet places your body in the best likelihood, as far as we can tell, of being able to renew and repair itself. I would, however, also strongly recommend the addition of the Cerule nutraceutical product range, the link for which you will find underneath this program here in the show notes, because that's a product range that increases your body's ability to release your own adult stem cells to your bloodstream, whereupon they tool around and find things that are messed up and unmess them. It's magics. Get that into you.
Magics, you say?
Magics.
Rightio.
Also, will cure you from being a newt.
Yep.
That's not a therapeutic claim.
Or grow new legs if you had them cut off.
Those are not therapeutic claims.
The other night, I was trying to tell my wife that I heard that mixing carbs and fats can be worse than just eating carbs in a certain way. Is that true?
Yes, you're referring to a thing called the Randle cycle, which I'll be doing a video on in the next couple of weeks to bring everybody up to date on that. But also, I'm doing a video this week where I'm responding to Ben Bickman, who got it completely fucking wrong. Well, he got it right to a point and then suddenly went completely off-piste. Absolutely and utterly. It was amazing. It was just a brain explosion. Ted was not impressed at all.
Poor Ted. Would a combination of stem cells and mushrooms of the magic be able to solve a case of anxiety?
Potentially, if everything was done in the right way at the right sort of doses and whatever else. There is a possibility, there are mechanisms there by which, yes, that absolutely could potentially occur.
Is cramp caused when the body needs minerals that pulls them from hard tissue like bone?
The first part is true that for the most part, mostly cramping is caused by an electrolyte imbalance, but pulling minerals from your bone is pretty much a last resort that the human body will absolutely resist until the end, pretty much. Or, you know, your bone can release an amount of mineral and does do that up front if you change your diet suddenly to something different for a while, but then it stops doing that. But here's a paper that proves Bart K absolutely wrong.
Do we need a paper for that?
Yes, a paper with no data, which proves Bart K wrong, because it's got an opinion. Oh, God.
My legs.
Alrighty, good.
I hate sitting on chairs. It's uncomfortable as fuck. These modern things.
Chairs, I know.
Yeah.
Remember back when, before we didn't have chairs?
Yeah.
You tell the youth of today.
But did you know that you resemble Agent 47 when you wear the suit?
Is that right, if you say so?
I don't even know who Agent 47 is.
That's Maxwell Smart.
If you say so. I'm trying to click the next one, but that doesn't work. There you go. Opinions on rapamycin. It's believed that its benefits come from inhibiting mTOR, but doesn't sound right.
It's reductionism. It's nonsense. There's no remotely valid evidence in free-living human beings that it has any meaningful impact on anything whatsoever. It's a theory based on reductionism proposed by a bloke in a lab. There you go. What the fuck is wrong with you, dog? She's sitting there going... It's chilly in here, but it's not that fucking
Not compared
cold.
to out there.
Yeah. What is your problem?
All right. Next one.
Yeah.
Why do you consider coffee bad?
Who told you I consider coffee bad? When did I ever say coffee is bad? Never.
Well, coffee isn't really good.
What I
isn't it?
have said is that coffee is a recreational drug because it has no nutritional value of any kind. It contains a stimulant, but it also contains a whole bunch of alkaloids of all sorts that are probably not very helpful, and one should limit one's coffee intake. That's quite different from saying coffee is bad. Okay?
There's a lot of bad shit in coffee in general, though.
Yes.
Like probably mold toxins and God knows everything, and obviously caffeine. And now I need to sneeze. That stuff.
Well done.
We'll see when it explodes. Yeah. Feels like it will.
Everybody take cover.
Yes.
Hit it again.
Seriously.
There you go.
I told Alu to debate you. He said he has zero medical knowledge and is not a cardiologist. I will not discuss high-level topics with low-level people. Why you have such arrogance? Because you are not MD or?
Because he has no idea what my background is, clearly, because I absolutely am a cardiovascular pathophysiologist, among other things, with publications to my name as first author in that field. I am a former professor of health science in that particular field.
You are the science.
I am the science. Trust me, I'm safe and effective.
Yes.
And I have vastly more knowledge on all topics of health, nutrition, and medicine than does Arlo, osteopath. All right? What's next? I've trained more MDs than that boy has had hot feeds, frankly.
Pim, when you dry fast, do you take a bath shower? Yes. I don't do, what's it called? A hard dry fast. I do a soft one. It might have been a mistake, because I think I did on day 4, because I started feeling a bit strange. That's when you convinced me that just take an Epsom salt bath. So I did. And after that, it went downhill a bit. So I've heard that it's actually easier to go long if you do a hard dry fast. So next time I'm not going to have a bath, but I am going to take showers, I think. Because I have a very sensitive nose, and if I start smelling, I will be very upset.
All I heard out of all of that was long and hard.
Yes. Is that something new for you?
Are you here to help? Or?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yes. Read the next question then.
I'm trying to find a question. Here's something that doesn't have a cube, it has a question mark, so let's try it. I tried carnivore diet for 2 weeks, gained my diarrhea, heart palpitations, and went to the hospital for severe electrolyte imbalance. Had to reintroduce carbs again. What should I do differently?
Well, don't change your diet overnight markedly from what it is to anything else ever. Always change your diet slowly. That's what you did wrong. You never really were transitioning properly, and yeah, that's what you did wrong.
You need more electrolytes if you go from a high carb to a low carb or a zero carb diet, because you are gonna piss out all the electrolytes in the beginning. So you need to replenish that. That's the biggest mistake there, I think. Super chat. Coffee enemas?
Not for me personally, but I do have colleagues that do use them clinically in their own practices, at least one of them anyway. So I'm open to the idea that it may be useful in some respect. The one person I know that uses them says it's to do with assisting people with bile issues and whatever else in some way. To which I go, okay.
Okay. How does insulin combine with the Randle cycle? If fat subtract is dominant, but you eat sugar, shouldn't the insulin dictate to burn that sugar in priority to avoid high blood sugar?
I'm covering this during my response to Ben Bickman. Well, I did cover that in my response to Ben Bickman, which is in the can and at the editors. Tune in during the week sometime when that film becomes publicly available, and you'll get the answer to your question there. Good.
Valerie likes my hair colour, thank you very much.
What colour is it today?
I don't know, some sort of purplish?
It looks like
the whole
lavender.
camera colour scheme is off today. This is still very yellow.
This is bright yellow, in fact.
Like Ted up there.
Yeah.
But we are washed out and red and look blotchy and everything looks horrible. So the vegans can use this to say you look terrible when you're eating meat.
Fuck them, whatever.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
now I'm losing my voice. I'm currently on blood pressure medication and I'm looking at getting Cerule Stem Enhance Ultra. Will I run into any issues combining them?
The only interaction between Cerule products and prescribed medications of which we are aware is that they tend to work against blood thinners, in that Stem Enhance Ultra serendipitously contains an amount of K vitamin.
K vitamin.
K vitamin, K vitamin, vitamin. No singing.
Put a Q in front of your questions.
Yes. Good.
I'm high oxalate. No one will ever eat me now.
Excellent.
Depends. Can one's diet change one's hormone and thus change one's sexual orientation?
The first part, yes. The second part, who knows?
No, you tell us.
You tell us, Marvin.
When should you exercise after eating a large meal, high fat and protein?
Well, when it's time to exercise, when you want to exercise, when it is that you've programmed exercise into your schedule. Perhaps not immediately after eating, because that can be a problem. But,
yeah.
you know.
I wouldn't recommend that. Then I think you should put that dinner off until after.
Yes.
What effect has cortisol in fat storage?
Well, it has quite a bit, really, because cortisol... Well, effect? Yeah, I'd say effect. Cortisol is thought of as the stress hormone. That's not actually particularly accurate. It's a parsimonious view. It's a bit not the full picture. But when you have a lot of cortisol searing around your body, there are a lot of effects on all sorts of metabolic pathways, including the one that tends to lead to the storage of fat.
Nice Swedish flag on the table. Yes.
Yes, it's real.
Yes.
Just like the whole table is real.
Yes, we can touch it.
As is this library behind me and the suit of armour and stuff.
I have been on carnivore diet for 5 months. I did a ketogenic diet for 5 years. A few days ago, I felt a lot of pain simultaneously in my joints. What can be the reason?
Oxalate dumping, probably. Go and look that one up. Look for Sally K. Norton and binge watch all of that stuff.
Yes. I have a very popular one of the
Or the
Sally
low-ox
interviews
grandma.
on my channel.
Sorry, the low-ox grandma as well is good.
Yes. Welcome to the Meat Militia, soldier.
Yes, welcome, soldier.
I can't scroll now. Fake. Keeps getting stuck.
It looks like you're near the bottom as well. I wasn't scrolling even further down
Thank
because
God.
you hit the bottom.
Okay. Cues. When are we going to get a reunion tour with the ruler of Tasmania? Miss you two doing a show together.
At some point. We're both busy doing our own things and stuffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife and I want to drink coconut milk to gain weight with fats, as it will help us gain weight and get our hormones better. What are the negative consequences of getting our fats from that?
Well, it depends what else you find in that coconut milk, or what you mean by coconut milk.
I think Harry would say deuterium.
Deuterium may well be an issue, yes. Why would you go with coconut milk specifically? Don't know.
I don't know. What do you think about adding avocado oil, olive oil, and or coconut oil to the keto or carnivore diet?
I wouldn't do it. Bad idea. Oils are not appropriate sources of anything for human beings except inflammation, messing up of lipid rafts and bilayers and things, inflammation.
I ate lots of coconut oil the other day in my coleslaw.
In your coleslaw. Yes.
Well, my homemade mayonnaise with coconut oil, I should say.
Yep.
Which ended up in the coleslaw. So I've eaten vegetables.
If it's liquid at room temperature, is either clear to straw-coloured and comes in a probably plastic bottle or glass bottle from a supermarket saying it's healthy for your heart, this oil, you can be damn sure it's anything but, and you should avoid it like the plague. That's just my opinion. Doesn't have to be anybody else's, but it's based in science.
Opinion.
Trust me, I'm the science.
Right, is pepperoni a good meat to eat if it's as clean as possible?
But what does that mean?
I have no idea.
As clean as what the hell is as clean as possible pepperoni?
Maybe organic meat and I don't know. I'm just making shit up here.
Basically, this is an N equals 1. Eat the stuff if you want to and see how it affects you. Keep everything else constant. Don't change anything. Remove the pepperoni for a while and see if there's an improvement to your disposition in the absence of pepperoni. Put it back in and see if any problems that might have existed come back or not. How's that? Good.
Why did PhD Tony treat you like a flat earther? You were simply stating a scientific argument of the Causality, yet he treated like you are superior.
Because PhD Tony is an arrogant asshat, speaking outside of his area of expertise, actually, because he's not a climatologist at all, any more than I am. Yes, what happened is I appeared on Fight the Flat Earth channel a few moons ago, many moons ago, and I said, well, look, here is an argument that has been put forward by some scientists. Here is the argument. PhD Tony was singularly, completely unable to refute what was put forward by me, i.e. telling him what the Connellys had said, what their paper had said, what their papers had said. And they acted like a bunch of high school children, basically. And it was as funny as hell. Anyone with any actual scientific nous or any actual experience in the real world could watch what occurred on that live stream that day and see exactly who it was that was floundering out of their depth and behaving like a child. It was absolutely clear and patent for anyone that watched it.
Yeah.
Yes.
To maintain general human health, would you say that it's better to just lift weights, for instance, rather than jogging?
Yes, I would. In general, for the most part, for most people that don't have a specific performance outcome goal in mind. Also depends on what you mean by jogging, at what sort of intensity and for how long. But anyway, yeah.
I remember you saying once that doing cardio exercise isn't good for you. I was wondering quickly what the main reason for that. I have this idea that it grows the heart and makes it stronger. No,
once again, I've never said doing cardio exercise isn't good for you. What I've said is doing hours and hours and hours a week of moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise is contraindicated for long-term health, it seems. And I've also been very, very clear to distinguish between physical fitness and health, because they are not the same thing, and too many people conflate those two things. Being fit is not being healthy. It's being fit. And fitness is still specific to the activity mode and intensity for the desired performance. If you do hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of moderate intensity training for years on end, it will strip muscle mass off your skeletal muscles, but on the same flip side of that, it can lead to a hypertrophy of your cardiac tissue, your heart muscle, and that can occur to such a degree as that it interferes with its own ability to be effective, thus leading to heart health problems later in life, which can often be compounded by the fact that such athletes, once they stop doing all that training, still keep eating the same way that they were told to eat by everyone that doesn't know how to tell people how to eat, i.e. have lots of carbs, because you can't do exercise without carbs, they'll tell you, and so you'll get diabetes and stuff probably, and it's terrible. All hypothetical things that can happen.
Does blue light activate insulin?
Not to my knowledge. Directly, no. Maybe it does, I don't know.
Can you provide a mechanistic explanation why ketosis carnivore is associated with profound improvements in those with the following physiatric diseases?
I suppose it's meant to be psychiatric.
Depression and ADD.
Well, it's because those kind of diets are inherently anti-inflammatory, and psychiatric diseases such as depression and blah-de-blah-de-blah have been linked to inflammatory status. There may or may not be a causal artifact there. The anecdotes are people that eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet tend to resolve all sorts of issues, including psychological issues. Doesn't mean it always happens, of course. Sometimes more is needed.
Very good.
Indeed.
How do I heal my gut eating only beef with fat? Just started drinking kefir. Does fermented food help?
Plus or minus, case by case. I would suggest that there are a number of things that you can do to help support gut health, over and above the carnivore approach to eating. And if you want specifics, other than those 5 things that I talk about publicly and freely, there are 1 or 2 other things as well that I might suggest depending on what your presentation is, in which case you would need to consult with me for an hour or more, depending on how severe your problem is. You can do that at the link under the show in the show notes, the bit.ly link. There's a link there to consultancies if you want to.
What is a good amount of protein to fat ratio for a lean bantamweight male about 130 pounds? How many grams of each would be an appropriate amount to eat daily?
Forget ratio, forget anything else except eat around about 2 to 2.5 maximum grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass per day, preferably in one sitting. And the rest of your meal at that time is fat to satiety, whatever that is that day. Your ratio will change day to day depending on your needs that day.
Very nice. Someone is ahead of themselves, but congrats on reaching 50k subs. Awesome.
Well, we're 97 away.
Yes.
From achieving this lofty goal. Which is actually more like 50 million away, because every time we get a few, YouTube decides that we lose a few. It's actually not a count, that, by the way. It's an AI-generated estimate based on an algorithm, and if they don't like you, they suggest you have fewer than you have, and if they do like you, it's bolstered. So it would seem, anyway, allegedly.
Okay. Is active methyl folate supplements any better than cheap generic?
Probably. But why would you be taking that? Have you been identified as, for example, having MTHFR or something like that? Why would you need more folate than the average bear? Thank you, number 904.
Ooh, I can see it ticket over there soon. Come on. I can't read when I'm looking at that screen.
That stream over there is behind, isn't
But
it?
how much behind is it?
Well, it's about 20 seconds, I think.
Well, we're waiting 20 seconds then.
There you go.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Now,
Right.
okay. If you would have to do a clinical trial about changing to carnivore diet effects, would you design it with a control group, changing to a vegan diet, or with no diet change?
It's not possible to do a study that is of any meaning in human beings regarding nutrition outcomes over any significant period of time. It cannot be done still by me or anybody else. Yes, I'm done with that.
Okay. Do you think C8 supplement to use as a tool, e.g. pre-exercise sport, is acceptable in context of carnivore?
I don't see that it's not acceptable, because, like, the shorter chains exist in a carnivore diet, and it's just a chain length of a certain number of carbon atoms. And the other thing is, like, I think we've got to stop putting all these rules down as to what's carnivore and what's not. Because if you say you're either a carnivore or you're not a carnivore, then you're a bigot, aren't you? Imposing a dualistic situation. There's no shades of grey on carnivore. I'm joking a little bit.
Okay. So...
I mean, actually, a hyper-carnivore is someone who eats more than 70% of their so-called heat units.
4,906.
Thank you, numbers 5 and 6. We appreciate you. Whose dogs are you?
All right. I cure my own salami and it has no deleterious consequences.
Fantastic, then I wouldn't fix it.
No, just freaking eat it and enjoy it and send us some.
That's it. But send us some that you haven't previously eaten.
Yes.
Send your shit samples to the bloke over there in Norwich. No, we'll send it to him if you like, but I mean the guy in Essex, of course. Simon, send it to him. Berry boy. He likes samples of shit sent to him. And if you can't find his address, perhaps send it to Simon, care of the New Zealand government at Parliament House, Wellington, New Zealand. Yeah.
Pim, have you ever made the homemade mayonnaise recipe created by Chris Cooking Nashville that uses butter as the fat source? It's quite delicious. No, I have not. I am reluctant to making mayonnaise with butter because I despise both hollandaise and what's the other one called? The one without the herbs in it. Those sauces, even though they're hot, but they're disgusting to me. So
I only know one kind of white sticky sauce.
Béarnaise sauce.
Not that one. That's not the one I was thinking of.
I can't eat them. I find them disgusting. So just the thought about but with cold, I can imagine they taste very similar, and most people probably like it. I probably wouldn't. So I'm going to avoid it.
The King of Tasmania is in the house.
Yes.
Yes, he is. You need to click him again.
Click what? Harry? I didn't click Harry.
Oh, I thought you did and it didn't work.
Nope.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. Just got up. Hi, Bart and Pim, and Ted, the magnificent, the great, the supreme bear. Hello, Harry. Good morning. Yes. Is there a detox mechanism or any research showing a link between the carnivore diet, light exposure like increasing redox in detoxing heavy metals and other toxins delivered via childhood vaccines?
I would ask Dr. Sarah Pugh about that.
Sarah Pugh.
Sarah Pugh! That's who I'd ask on that one.
Okay.
Not sure.
What are the main mechanisms implicated in the inflammatory pathways associated with consumption of olive oil?
Well, when you consume oil that is sold to you as olive oil, a lot of the time it's nothing of the sort, in fact. Even if it is olive oil, it's 14 to 16% polyunsaturated seed-based oils. That's bad. Okay?
Okay.
It's bad. Oil is bad. Anything liquid at room temperature is not designed for you to put into your body by way of oils.
Any carnivores keto-ers you are aware of in the Olympics?
Nope. I'm not aware of anybody in the Olympics. I'm not aware of the Olympics occurring. I spurn the Olympics as I would spurn a rabid dog. I wouldn't trust the Olympics to sit the right way on a lavatory.
How would you sit then?
Dunno.
Upside down? Sideways?
The Olympics can't determine who's a boy and who's a girl, for fuck's sake.
Nope.
It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. But there is an answer in science as to which is which. It's based in your genes, not in the gears that you might have attached to your body or as part of your body. Whether you're an innie or an outie has got nothing to do with whether you are a man or not, actually.
Right. Yeah. What specific muscle meats do you typically consume?
Beef, mostly. Lamb, second. Probably quite close with the amount of pork. Chicken are very distant behind that, and fish very, very distant behind that again.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Does carnivore diet help with lung fibrosis, and any supplement to advise in my case? I'm taking taurine.
Well, that's a good start, of course. Since Harry's here, we will say taurine, 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 no singing. It may well. I would definitely suggest to you that the fine Cerule products would be a very, very good idea without making any therapeutic claims of any kind, because I'm not allowed to. I'd get involved in that sooner than yesterday. Plus, there's some other things, because those are on that list of 5 things that a person should do to combat. Well, it's couched as an anti-inflammatory thing, but most things are inflammatory in etiology. So you deal with inflammation, you deal with most pathology. Not all, most.
Okay. Will you come on my podcast?
Sure. Send me a message on email. My email address is on the About tab on the front page of my YouTube channel.
Carl. Hello, Carl. Can you help me with a conversation to tell people why our blood type does not affect what food we can eat? I'm O blood type and apparently I am allowed to eat carnivore.
Well, for me, I always suggest to people that suggest all sorts of crazy shit to me that they would perhaps like to support their crazy shit in some way, with some science of some kind. Be the one asking the questions. That's how you control a conversation. Don't be the one answering questions. Unless you're me, because I'm the science, safe and effective and trustworthy. Don't question me.
Nope.
Or else I'll send Ted to deal with you.
Why would you do that?
Don't like to get my hands dirty.
My vegan friend says I have to eat plants for the endocannabinoid system. What's this all about, please?
That's about your vegan friend having a theology and an ideology and thinking that they have some kind of science behind them, which they don't. Smoke some pot. Perhaps if you're desperately trying to subserve your endocannabinoid system in some way. I'm not suggesting a person should smoke pot. I'm being facetious. All right? No, you don't need to eat plants for your endocannabinoid system. The key giveaway there was endo, coming from within.
Do you think with a lot of twin studies that results could often be gestational? Learning a lot about nutrition from you guys has got me thinking that there's potentially overconfidence.
Okay, let me say this again. All existing so-called science regarding human health outcomes, as that regards any aspect of nutrition or pharmacological drug intervention, as it seems, are rubbish. All of them. There is no science extant in this field anywhere. There is the best that can be done ethically, morally, and financially, and it's not good enough. Still.
Do you drink tea?
Not so much. She does, a bit. Not gumboot tea, other kinds of herbal teas.
Yeah. Chai or mint, usually.
Lovely. Lovely.
Is there any jabaroonies that are helpful for kids or adults in your opinions? Carnivore kids, adults, if that makes a difference.
I have no opinion that I will espouse publicly on any medical intervention of that kind whatsoever, for this is not a topic which is allowable for people to have opinions upon. Would you provide analysis of our blood, stool and urine samples in order to provide better consultancy for a fee? Why would I do that? I don't know. I don't need to look at parameters in your blood, stool or urine to be able to sit down with you and talk through what your issues are and suggest to you what I might do in your shoes to help ameliorate that situation potentially. Most of the numbers that you get from these kind of things are of absolutely no value anyway. Rightio. Yeah. What will happen to a carnivore if you consume 300 grams of carbs out of nowhere in one sitting? Asking for a friend, of course. Most likely, if that person has been carnivore for any significant period of time, that glucose would pour into the blood and remain there for quite some time. Oh, baby. And that would be a bad thing, because that would tend to cause damage to that person's tissues. Oh, God. Squeeze up. She's got ants in her pants today. Haven't you? Is there a way to remove oxalates from 100% cacao? I don't know. I don't think there is. I mean... There will be a chemical method. Yeah, but not that you would like to consume after you've done what you probably... No, what other ramifications would that cause? We don't know. Android Huberman recently released a video indicating hypertrophy will result from 5 sets per week for any given muscle group, but neglected to indicate what the requisite reps might be. Any idea? Yes. 8 rep maximums. Which also flies in the face of what Pavel was saying, or what someone was saying Pavel was saying earlier in the show, doesn't it? Because that's not a huge volume.
Yes, hello.
It's not about volume, it's about intensity. 8 rep max for hypertrophy. Vocally dogglies.
Right. Does heavy cream cause inflammation, or does it depend on the person?
The second thing.
What's the best time of day to take Cerule Stem Enhance, and any need to take with food?
Doesn't matter, and no. Just get them down here is the important thing. The one thing I'll tell you for absolutely certain, boys and girls, is that the Cerule products will not work in the bottle on your shelf somewhere. You must take them on a daily basis.
What is the stupidest question you guys got in the last month or so? I haven't been around that much, so I want to get the feel for the trending nonsense.
What's the stupidest question we've had in the last few months?
Not sure.
Don't know, Lukey.
I'm sorry, Lukey.
Suggest for us what the stupidest questions you've seen in the last month have been.
Could your damage to arteries walls heal?
Yes, it can and it does, given the opportunity to do so. Oh, Fluffy. Oh.
Okay, so this is the last question, I think.
Hurrah!
How much is too much muscle for health? Should I stop working out if I reach that point?
Once you get to a point where your musculature is such that it actually interferes with your full range of motion under control, that starts to become deleterious in terms of your ability to negotiate the world. In terms of when does it start being a problem, probably before that, because there'll be quite a bit of cardio hypertrophy occurring in a lot of people that do too much of the kind of lifting that we're talking about. And that can be a potential downside on your cardiac health at some point. That, and if you're taking the gear as well, well, that's not a good idea. Don't take gear. Gear is bad. Okay?
So let's see, there are some more questions now. What foods are good sources of vitamin K1 and K2?
There are all sorts of places that you can get vitamins of that kind, including you'll find it in the muscle meats of ruminant animals. You'll find it in Cerule products. There's some K vitamin in there.
Butter?
Butter is good, yes.
Anything fermented, probably?
Yes, pretty much.
Including kefir?
Does that mean alcohol's back on?
Is alcohol now a health food?
Yes. Trust me, I'm the science.
Right, next question.
Safe and effective.
Can I purely eat muscle meats forever without having a small amount of organs or liver, heart, organ supplements?
Probably. Of course, you know, your mileage is what it is. You're an individual. But the average person does not require anything other than what can be found inherently in the muscle meats of ruminant animals.
Fucking hell, Jonathan is awake. I've now worked up to 400 grams of protein per day. Hungry for more. Is there a limit? Have you met anyone eating more? Maybe he's trying for the stupidest question.
Yeah, we love you, Jonathan. Why are you doing that? Tell us more. There is a lot of protein.
Maybe he's prepping for the next competition. Decided he wanted to go for it.
I mean, yes, there is a limit to everything, including water and oxygen. But as to where that is for you, who knows? What is your blood sugar doing? Have I met anyone eating more protein than that? Sean Baker might on a daily basis. I don't know. He certainly did the other day.
When I interviewed Ella Bruce a long time ago now, I can't remember what she said she was eating, but she did this experiment where she was eating so much protein, it was insane, and she put on so much muscle without doing, like, changing anything in her exercise schedule. So maybe, I haven't actually met her, but I've spoken to her. I can't remember how much it was, though. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan says, Collab Zone, I want to come on for an interview.
Of course, just book it in, man, and let me know that it's going to be on my channel rather than on yours. All good.
Very nice.
Whenever you like, pretty much.
Can a woman reverse osteoporosis without medication?
Yes.
Absolutely. What would be signs of copper deficiency?
Various signs of various enzyme dysfunctions, poor skin, poor hair, energy,
Floppy ears
if you're a dog.
I'm not sure that's it.
I've never seen a case of copper deficiency. Have you?
Not that I know of.
Look it up. Ask Dr. Google what the signs and symptoms of copper deficiency are.
It's probably more better than asking us.
Yeah. Dr. Google. He's the science. Trust him.
Jonathan says, ha ha ha, prepping for next contest. Blood glucose is normal still. I'm glad to hear that you're doing it.
Yeah, I think you knew that. That's your answer then.
Yeah,
if it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's why I think he was trying for the stupidest
All right,
question.
so you're trying to strip fat off is what you're saying. Okay.
Right. What do you think of supplementing with L-citrulline for osteoporosis?
If it works, fantastic. Don't fix it. I mean, the mechanism by which it might work, that would be a bit more apocryphal, perhaps. I would suggest that the most important things to do for a person by way of their osteoporotic situation would be to eat a species-appropriate diet and 4 other things on that list of 5 that I
Here we
promote.
go. All right. Why do I seem to be eating more and more meat every day? I've been on carnivore for about 1 month, starting at around 3 pounds of meat. Now it's close to 4.
You're priming without knowing that that's what you're doing. Your body is telling you it wants it, it needs it, because you've been deficient in all sorts of things because of the whatever diet you were eating before going carnivore. Keep an eye on your blood sugars. Keep an eye on your fat carriage, and keep an eye on your general affect, and let me know if anything changes. But in the meantime, it doesn't sound like anything needs fixing.
Good.
Yep.
Do you agree that topical application of certain vegetable oils might have an anti-inflammatory effect?
It's not impossible. Who knows? Case by case.
What vitamins and supplements to avoid with hyperpulmonary tension?
We would need to sit down for an hour or so and talk about your situation, your presentation, to work out what kind of specialised individual ideas we might put forward for you. It really depends on what's going on.
Right. Have you looked into any of Jack Cruise's theories, and if so, any thoughts you can share? Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat indeed. Yes, I have spoken to Jack directly several times on camera over the past 6 years and done interviews with him. I've also spoken to him behind the scenes on a number of occasions, on a number of topics. He knows exactly how I feel about what he says and how he says it, and he's not going to make any amendment to that on the basis of anything I've got to say on those topics. But my individual personal interpretation of Jack Cruise is that he's right about 50% of the time on what he says. And the other 50%, he's nowhere near it. Love you, Jack. You're a great man. Keep doing it. It's awesome. But, half the time, don't agree with them.
They don't let us finish today. They just keep throwing us questions in.
More questions, more questions.
Right, so next one.
Yes.
Slow reps or fast reps for muscle growth? What's better?
If you're using fixed weights, I'd go with rapid concentric and slowed eccentric. 8 rep maximum sets.
I can't read.
2 of those per session, no more than 3 times a week. Works out to about 6 sets. 1 more than the 5 that was suggested earlier by someone reporting what Huberman said. By the way, I wouldn't trust Huberman as far as I can throw him on anything pretty much. Just because he's Huberman, and he's wrong often too. Yeah.
So, what really causes lipomas, and can a carnivore diet shrink them or stop someone getting them?
Not really 100% certain in terms of this causes that, because there's a lot of speculation out there as to all sorts of things. Can a carnivore diet shrink them? There is some anecdotal suggestion that A species-appropriate, species-specific diet is associated with all kinds of health benefits, including that. No shock, really. Is it, Fluffy? Push, push.
She has problems.
She has many problems.
What is priming? I've heard of it before, but don't really understand
It's
it.
eating lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of food in the form of muscle, meat, and associated fat to the point of, 3 times your usual intake plus. Usually it goes on for a couple of weeks and then you stop doing it and go to a different program after that. Perhaps you should consult with me about all of this. The link is underneath this video in the show notes. It goes bit.ly/Bart-KAY. Just click on that. And then click on Patreon membership for consultancies and pay the Patreon subscription monthly cost of monthly consults. And then consult with me monthly for as long as you want to, cancel whenever you want. How's that?
Shock is 31, that sounds like a Swede.
Yes.
What's your take on vitamin D? I recently read that nothing to do with the effect of sun exposure or the believed levels of vitamin D3. It's only a proxy marker fooling the body.
I don't know what the question is. Do you know what the question is? Type it in Swedish and she'll read it and understand what the question is. Yeah.
A proxy marker for what?
Exactly. I mean, we need more information.
Don't really get it.
Vitamin D is crucial in your body in that it is a cofactor for basically just about every single metabolic reaction that occurs anywhere in the metabolic tree. We know that vitamin D is synthesized under the influence of ultraviolet light from the sun. So I'm not sure what the question is.
No.
Sorry.
We'll see if Shockis gets back to us.
Yes, use Swedish if you like.
Any thoughts on castor oil packs? They seem to be very popular.
For what? For what purpose? Castor oil is a good lubricant.
Is that the last question? I don't even know where it is. No, we have some here.
Quictions, roly-poly quictions. No singing.
What are your thoughts on A2 whole milk and yogurt?
A2 whole milk, fine, if that's good for you. And yogurt, same deal, if that's good for you. If it's not good for you, don't do it. Be aware that milk, especially whole milk, contains quite an amount of sugar.
What are your thoughts on chiropractic practices?
Depends on which chiropractic practices you mean, and because like chiropractors from different countries have different areas of expertise and different training statuses in various different respects and things.
And what do you think of apple cider vinegar?
For what outcome or for what purpose?
We're not asking any questions unless you're being very specific.
If you want a question answered, ask the question. Goodness gracious.
Funny as fuck.
Yes, it is.
Any reason to think an alcohol breathalyzer would have a false positive with someone on a ketogenic diet or carnivore zero carb diet?
It is possible, yes. It's one of the things that is often used in defence of those caught over the limit while driving, that person was highly ketogenic at the time and thus the breathalyzer result was invalid. Usually it doesn't work for the defendant in that case because usually, depending on which country you're in, the legal system ignores all sorts of things that it doesn't suit it to pay heed to. Like, in my case, I was once convicted of a criminal offence in one country that I was in at the time without any evidence that I had committed that crime of any kind. No evidence at all. So it depends what country you're in as to what's okay. That was the UK, by the way. The UK has a legal system that allows people to be convicted of a criminal offence without any evidence that they have done so. You'd think in a developed nation that wouldn't be the case, wouldn't you? You suck, UK legal system. What's next?
Any incidents of cancer on a carnivore individual that you are aware of?
Not personally. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
You know that cancer takes many, many years to develop, and before it becomes a problem, takes even more years. So anyone who's been on a carnivore diet for less than 10 years who's getting cancer, you probably should blame that on something different. Okay, last question now.
Good, last question.
Here. More specific, what do you think of apple cider vinegar in order to help reverse type 2 diabetes? That's a better question.
Well, it depends on how you define the type 2 diabetes. Because for me, type 2 diabetes is elevated blood glucose and nothing else. Does apple cider vinegar reduce blood glucose? And if so, how does it do that? How would acetic acid affect your blood glucose?
I think it slows the emptying of your stomach.
So it's not a direct effector then, is it?
You will still get it.
Sure. All right, fair enough. It's not a tool I would use in my practice. I tell type 2 diabetics that the answer to their situation is to stop pouring carbohydrates down your neck, or things that turn into carbohydrates.
Now, that was the last question for reals.
Very good. In that case, we can sing a little song and say bye-bye nicely, can't we? Steak and eggs and steak. That's what Ted had for breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. We got it. Right, see you next time.